Awesome. Alrighty. Well, we are joined by, with Inner Strength Check podcast. Today we are joined by Simon Calabrese, vocalist for the mighty melodic death metalers Daysend. Simon, how are things going? I'm loving the branding on your
We just got the t-shirts done, so it's the first t-shirts back since, well, I guess the band is 14 years, so it's the first time we've seen new t-shirts. So we've got couple of different sizes of the plain style with a big logo on the back though, and it's all about, it's all themed around the Severance album. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So you guys are approaching your first date of the tour. How's things looking in the band? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Fortunately, three of the guys in Days End have been quite, pretty active of late with, Jason and Aaron in Mortality,
Hmm.
and Michael had been playing until recently with his old band Automation. So I guess they've been a little bit more, what would you call it, match fit to be on stage and gig
Yep.
ready. I guess myself and Matt on drums, not as much. I think when we
Right.
approached Matt, he hadn't picked up sticks in about 10 years. So for him,
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
it had been a long time coming, but he's absolutely killing it, right? He's really got, he's really got the chops on the skins. And yeah, it's just been a bit of a reminder for me, because for me, whilst, the band, I think it's been 14 years. For me, it's 19 years, so quite a long time since I've been on stage fronting a band. So it's certainly been a fair to work on match fitness and remembering some lyrics and remembering how hot the lights are when you're up on stage. So
Yeah. Oh, it's all coming back now. All those little things you don't usually remember about stage life and recording and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
yeah.
So you talked about being match fit for yourself in terms of vocals. Have you been getting back into it in the vocal front? You've been doing like warm-ups. Have you been going around
I
it?
mean, yeah, warm-ups definitely, but it's more the cardio part of
Mm,
it. So as you imagine, you're not doing much for a while. You sort of, once you've still got, the capacity to sing and scream, etc., it's more the cardio in between that singing and screaming. It's easy for me right now to scream out, a massive vocal, but then if you haven't got the cardio in between to continue on to the next line, then you're sort of fucked, right? So yeah, it's just been working on, anyone that sings or screams knows that cardio is definitely part of it. A big part of it also is core and having
mm,
core strength to
mm.
bring into your theme of inner strength, right? So
Yeah.
if you haven't got strong core, then trying to smash out those heavy vocals constantly can be a tough gig, and then you end up utilizing too much of your throat and not enough of your core and your
Mm.
solar plexus. So I've just been working mostly at the gym with a lot of more core exercising than I normally do, because I normally like to lift and lift chest and back and all, but
Yeah.
really,
The classics.
really hitting that core stuff. So around the legs, the quads, obviously around the stomach, but even the lower back, just to support when you're pushing out that vocal.
Mm.
And then, yeah, forcing myself to do a bit of cardio because I'm a lazy prick, but you know, doing a bit
I know
more
the
jogging
feeling.
and stuff,
Yeah.
just, and it's worked. Like if you go back to when we sort of started jamming, I think like late last year, I was like pretty fucked, So we fast forward now. I wouldn't say I'm amazingly fit, but certainly in respect to getting through a set and not dying, is something that I can do now. So, and as we've progressed through rehearsals, getting into a groove again of these old songs that used to sing in, day out. Yeah, and then just getting into the fun of it now, and also utilizing, the other guys we have in the band with Jason coming in on bass adds another dimension vocally, because he doesn't mind a scream. So he's been
Mm.
getting in the scream action with me. So it's adding a bit more dynamic to not
Oh,
just me
nice.
screaming all the time, but him as well. And Michael's still there with his more on the clean vocals with some harmonies there. So it's all sort of coming together.
Awesome. So how does it feel in terms of adding in that extra dynamic? Does that help things? Does that make things feel, I mean, I'm imagining it's feeling fresh for everyone. It's a familiar album, but does adding in that dynamic add a little bit of novelty factor for you guys now too in rehearsing it?
But I mean, look, the songs are the songs, but we muck around with them a little bit too. So
Mm.
wouldn't say they sound completely different because they don't. They still
Yeah.
sound the same songs, but like I do some things differently vocally in some of it. Having Jason come in with some of those streams adds a little bit of difference to it as well. Aaron does a few things where he adds a few other licks. I mean, I don't know how many more you can add in there, but like,
Mm.
in some of the songs, and we're just playing with it. We're just having fun with it. But the songs will still sound like they are on the album. But there's some differences vocally. I mean, I've got you don't realize until you get there. My register's probably dropped a bit since in 19 years. So my high screaming is
Mm.
I've realized that I've got more deeper screaming, but the high scream is not quite what it used to be. So I need to, I've had to modify how I sing some of these songs to keep in line with it. So it sounds slightly different in some areas, but still sounding pretty good.
Awesome. Awesome. And in terms of revisiting Severance and revisiting touring and everything, what was the kind of the linchpin? What was the decision to get back into this? I mean, this is obviously this is I'm just gonna fanboy for a second and not blow too much smoke up your ass, but I think a lot of people would agree with me that Severance, especially like your guys' material, it's some of the better, even best Australian melodic death metal out there. This is a pretty landmark 2000s Melodeath album for a lot of people. I'm just curious to hear from you what the process was around deciding, because it's been that long. What kind of tied the room together and was the impetus for you guys to bring this tour out and bring Severance back out on the road?
I mean, look, we've talked about it on and off, for various times over the past 10 plus years. And I guess for it had to be right and
Mm,
for everyone. And if you can, consider the fact that most guys in the band married young kids and all that sort of
yeah.
stuff, it just wasn't, I think, feasible. And I think, it just wasn't the right time. But over that period of time, and I'm not, taking on what you said, but like constantly, whether it's online or even at gigs, etc., it's that conversation or, severance, etc., when you getting stuff back together. So, and I'd always say, look, whenever the other four guys and girls are keen, right? So it was sort of one of those things. And then I went to bit of a plug for Necrosonic, obviously happening on the 23rd of August, right? I was
Yeah.
at Necrosonic last year, and Keno, who's a good mate, who's really pushing what is really becoming a great festival.
Yeah.
And I was there, for a whole heap of reasons and bands, but I definitely wanted to see the old Mortality guys back up in there. So I was sort of
Mm,
backstage watching that and in sort of some of the sound check they were doing, Aaron started playing a few Daysend Severance riffs, and I'm like, stop it.
You're like,
So,
oh, yeah.
seeing them on stage, it was great to see that they've still got the goods, and
Mm,
same with seeing Cordek out with his old band Automation.
mm,
I haven't been performing, but prior to that, I'd been working for the last couple of years, few years with my old band Red Sands as well, writing new material. So still very keen. And over the years, many, whether it's promoters or fans or people that we know hitting us up, and one of our friends, fans doing the same thing. And I just said, well, I said same answer I've been saying for forever and a day. Like if the other guys are keen, hit them up. And
mm,
long story short, obviously, Cordic was keen and Aaron was, and then it was Wayne and Meredith, and so for me it's always that was that's the team that wrote and released Severance, and we toured America and all that sort of stuff, and that's the team that we all wanted,
yeah.
um, and we're all very good friends and close still, but like with Wayne and Meredith, it was just a little bit too difficult for them to come on board for it.
Yeah.
Um, where they're living right now, it's difficult for coming for rehearsals. They've got a little one too.
Yeah.
Wayne's got an awesome, drum shop that he's running at the moment, and he's really that's just taking up all his time, and so it wasn't like. well, you guys can't do it. Like, we're going to do it without you. It was never that. And,
Yeah.
having Jason and Picker come on board, I've said it before in other interviews, it's not that they're replacing Wayne and Meredith because they'll never replace Wayne and Meredith, and they'll say the same thing to you. You're just
Mm.
sort of keeping the seat warm,
Yeah.
if they ever can get back into it. So, and that was the AG. But I guess when it evolved, and then with Jason Immortality and Aaron having a chat with Jace, and he sort of said, look, that's his normal instrument is guitar. He said, but he basically said, fuck it, like um
Yeah.
for him, he said like the Severance was one of those albums that sort of got him into bands and playing guitar. So he said, bugger it, I'll just go and buy a bass rig and I'll just learn bass and I'll play bass. So and he rang up, Meredith and wanted to obviously get her blessing and all that sort of stuff because it's not like, replacing, it's just a matter of we're all getting old. I said, if we don't do it now, I'll probably never do it. So we've got to try and make it
Mm.
wait. And having Jason obviously being Daysend from, the next two albums after I'd left back then, at least then you've got sort of the frontline true, Daysend, right? So,
Yeah.
and with Pico being a good mate of ours and we've known for a long time and the old band Switchblade and, a great drummer in his own right. Similar thing, like he's always loved that album and worshipped sort of what Wayne was doing at the time, and so he rang up Wayne to sort of get his blessing as well, and it sort of all happened that way, and all of a sudden within 4 weeks we're like, okay, we're doing this, and so that's a long story basically, but that's sort I felt we needed to cover that off because this wasn't just sort
Yeah.
of like let's just do it, and that's the reason we did it. I just felt like what you said around Severance and the album. Yeah, it just seems like a bit of unfinished business, and I wouldn't mind just doing one lot of shows, which is just specific to the album. So that's where we're at.
Mm. Mm. And I've noticed that there's a bit of time between dates. Like it's not your usual,
No,
not your usual crammed run. Is that also to fit in to accommodate like your guys' life schedules, that
yeah,
sort of thing? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We're not. Look, no band in Australia, unless you do it for 20, 30 years, you end up being, Parkway. You don't get into metal in a band to make money, right? There's just
Yeah. Yeah.
no like. So we're just doing this because we love what we do. We love the album. We want to give it some credit. And everyone's got, not everyone, but most of us got kids and we've got
Mm.
day jobs and we can't do what we used
Mm.
to do back in the day. We just take off, like to America, we just take 6 weeks off work. Just simply can't do that.
Yeah.
Um, and so we just thought, well, the best time to do it is around summer and we worked out with Blaney from Your Mate said, look, if you can coordinate a tour where we do, say, one show a month and try and do a Saturday because most people want to go out on a Saturday night, right? So
Yeah.
one in each of the states where we can to make it cost effective, and we'll just do it over, 5, 6 months. It doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Um, and I don't think it does matter. I mean, if you live in Melbourne and there's a show in Sydney or Brisbane, whether it's this date or that date, you'll fit it in. And I guess for those that really like diehard fans, they might come to the first show in Brisbane and they might be from Melbourne and say, well, that's August, but I'll be able to see them again in February. So um,
Mm.
that's the reason. Yeah, we just leave that time because we just have work and kids and families, and yeah, we're not a normal touring band in that respect. So.
Mm. 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 And how does it feel how does the prospect of playing live for you again, just in general, feeling like what's the feeling like for you to be getting back on stage in the auspice of Day's End? Like how's that, what's your sort of, are you feeling excited about it or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always been excited. I mean, that's my favorite part of band life is the live
yeah,
performance.
yeah,
Writing is great and recording's good, sometimes tedious because I'm
yeah,
impatient. But being on stage, whether it's in front of 5 people, 5,000, like it's for me, that's the part that I enjoy the most,
yeah,
especially when you get out there and even if only one person's singing along, it's sort of a buzz that someone knows the songs. And I'll be honest right now, I'll be doing a lot of getting into the crowd again and seeing as, I would imagine there'll be a handful of people that will know the album. So I'll be able to, grab a few of those and I'll get the audience to sing along as well and just make it what we're doing this time, back in the day, it was sort of wham bam, do your set, bang bang, and get out. We're trying to we're evolving it to make it more of a production. So,
Mm,
we're really working on our lights and our sound, but also um, muck around with some of the intros and outros and
yeah.
really, make a little bit more of a show than just a set. Um,
Mm,
and it's our first time, I think, all of us doing it. So there might be a few hurdles that we'll cross, but we're going to have a go at doing that as well. So it's a little bit different.
mm.
Um, but yeah, no, just enjoying singing those old songs and yeah, and getting and seeing the crowd enjoying it as well as what it's all about for me anyway.
Yeah, nice, nice. And so it's been a while since I mean, you mentioned like 19 years, right? Like a lot's happened in between now and then. And in terms of the local scene, so you mentioned you went to Necrosonic, which is awesome festival. Like been getting some great lineups. It's really great actually to see Brizzy starting to cop more stuff like that. Like you've got Dead of Winter, that sort of thing. Um, have you been kind of keeping your finger on the pulse with what's happening in the local scene at the moment? What's your kind of thoughts on the scene for you at the moment?
I mean, I'll be honest, mate. Apart from the occasional gig here and there or festival,
Mm,
and just seeing off stuff online, I'm just busy in my personal life that I don't get to go to a lot of gigs and nowhere
yeah.
near entrenched into the local scene as I was 20 years ago.
Mm,
I'm certainly
mm,
connected to a lot of friends who put on events and festivals. So, like whether it's Keno putting on this and whether it's, you know, Jason and, we've got Jason and Brad putting on their Froth in two different states. And I was at Froth the year before and um, then just connected with some of the guys, like the guys in Cog and Lucius and seeing some of their shows when they come up and everything in between, really. But it's just about, it's more around, for me, I'm once again, I'm not talking on behalf of the band, but myself, I'm just really busy with my work and personal
yeah.
life that I just can't get out to gigs every week or 2 weeks or even every month. But I do when there's opportunity, I'll put something in the calendar, like I
Mm,
did with Necro or Froth or some of the even the bigger ones. Like I have still been going to things like Good Things and but it's more of a 4, 5, 6 times a year type thing as
yeah.
opposed
Yeah.
to every single week. It's just I'm of an age where that's where I've got different things. But if I see something coming up, I'm buying tickets. You
Mm,
know, 6 months. Like I've got tickets to Metallica. I'm going. I'm
yeah.
seeing those boys again. They've always put on a good show. Last time I went to individual was Electric Callboy.
Oh,
If
yep.
Gojira come out again, I'll be buying tickets around the country again. So but the local scene. It's really I'm finding information through what I see online through other bands. Yeah,
Mm, mm. And in terms of that 5, 6 times a year, if we're talking about like reflecting on, but now and then, I mean, you can, you can, who can barely afford to go to more than 5 or 6 shows, it seems at the moment with the price of tickets, that sort of thing. It must, for you guys, it must feel very different coming back into like Daysend in the current musical landscape. I mean, so much has changed. There's
yeah,
so much more of a different digital online environment. The
yeah.
industry is so different. Like so, yeah. Does it feel very like I wouldn't say jarring, but yeah, it must feel very different coming back in Days and Severance in today's world versus say back in the
Yeah.
2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say, well, back in my day,
Back
but
in my day. Yeah.
back in my day, you did, like it's also beneficial, but like you did hard, you just gigged all the time, and you had drum media, like which is in record stores, and there was
Yeah.
no online. Like I think right, maybe when I left in '06, maybe there was MySpace, there was no
Yeah.
Facebook, right? So, you know, now the positive of that online piece is you can generate a fan base via your music
Mm.
more cost effectively than having to tour every single way. Then there are some negatives about that. It doesn't necessarily, sometimes it'll mean that young bands come through on the basis of their online presence, but they haven't learnt to, I guess, work a crowd. They haven't learnt
Yeah.
to be in the foray of gigs very often. So then you
Mm,
get to the gig and you think, well, that's a bit boring, right? Like the 30
mm,
second clip you showed us on TikTok was really exciting, but then the rest of it's, but there's pros and cons to both. And I guess from our perspective, yeah, luckily we've got a couple of guys who are pretty savvy on the online piece and helping with the, Facebook and Instagram and other mediums where we're driving some more content and yeah, getting some, stuff all fixed up on the different streaming areas. I mean, I like the streaming piece. It's a shame that they pay so little to creators, but
yeah, yeah.
having access to a world of music, I think is good.
Mm.
But what they pay those musicians, I think, is poor. But
Oh God, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
another
yeah. I think
conversation.
yeah, that's a whole other conversation, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Yeah. So, you guys, in terms of obviously we're talking about I'm gonna do the whole elephant in the room thing. We're looking at this as just more like a wrap up to just bringing it back together, kind of like a reunion thing. Is there any talk about keeping Days End ongoing, or is it just more a thing of like, nah, like this is more just like we'll just bring it back together for nostalgia's sake. We're all busy, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Um, when we first got together on this, it was definitely let's just do these 5 or 6 dates, and
Mm,
it's like a homage because it was we would have called it the 20-year anniversary, but it's 22 years now, so it's a little bit. So that's why I
close
said
enough.
just revisiting. But it
Yeah.
was basically an anniversary tour of the album. But um, there's I think the mood within the band has changed a little bit from that, and
Right.
there's a bit of buzz about whether there might be something after, but I don't want to speak out of school because we really haven't spoken to about it too
Yeah.
much. I know,
Yeah.
I know that our promoters got some bands coming from different parts of the world, and he's would you play with these guys, etc. And we're considering it, and then, but then we don't have made any decisions. So I don't want to speak out of school because if we're going to do that, then we need to then bring the other songs into play, which are Mark's songs, which and understand what that looks like. And so there's opportunity. We just haven't talked about. We have been working on a new track.
Okay.
So if and when we want to release that, that might be an impetus to do some more shows. But anyway, it's all up in the air. Let's put it that way. It's all up in the air. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, look, I'm just extremely thankful and grateful that it's happening at all. I mean, so you mentioned '06, like being a millennial, I wouldn't have even been old. I just wouldn't have been old enough to even get to, you know, a show that
Yeah.
wasn't all ages back in the day. So this is kind of, for me, this is like my first opportunity. And I think it's going to be interesting from my perspective. It's going to be interesting because I think you're going to get a lot of folks, like, I think you're going to get a bit of a mix. Because I think there's a lot of people that might have just, like myself, who might have just missed the mark, who probably been frothing at the bit since jumping the bit since 2006 to see this live in the flesh. So I'm definitely excited. And you're in good hands with Anthony from Your Mate. He does a lot of like great bookings and he's a solid bloke. So I think it sounds like I just basically want to reflect. I'm really excited for you guys. I'm sure you guys are excited to get back out on the road. And it's great to hear that you've got like a sustainable tour, one that's not going to burn you out and you go, oh, now I got to go back to work for another 4 months, you know? Um, yeah. So, so in terms of merch, you mentioned you've got a couple of different shirt designs, that sort of thing. So do you guys have a whole sort of like spread for
Yeah, well,
merch on
I
offer?
think this Monday coming, we're just testing the payment process or portal or whatever it might be. I think we're going to be launching our online store Monday or Tuesday coming up, and we've got essentially two. This is one design, and then there's a countdown bloody countdown one, another different design. And then we've got long sleeve, we've got hoodie, We've got some pins, some stickers, sew-ons. What else have we got? Some sign posters with this whole Severance piece. So yeah, there's a heap of stuff that I think we'll have available as of Monday. Hence why I just wore this because would you notice that this is the first time I've actually, I think well, obviously 19 years, but I think even when back in the day, I don't think we really had our own t-shirts. So I think this is the first time
Mm,
I've really had a Daysend t-shirt. So
there you go.
hence why I'm wearing it, not just to
Yeah.
plug it, it's like, bugger it, I'll wear
Yeah,
it.
awesome, awesome. I reckon, people hearing that announcement, the merch store's open on Monday. Don't be surprised if that gets cleaned up because I think there'll be a few people very keen, especially since, it's your first kind of huge run of merch. So, yeah, um, yeah, basically I think that just about covers it all. And I just want to say, mate, like I am just so keen to see you guys performing would be my first time. And I'm just really stoked that you guys are getting the opportunity to bring yourselves together, bring the room together, play a classic album from your Discog. So I just want to say on behalf of all Days End fans, thanks. Like it's very highly appreciated from us who are fans of the album, fans of yourselves. So looking forward to the tour, and I'm sure you guys are
Thanks,
too.
man. Thanks. So what song do we have to play? What's one song that we have to play?
Oh, I don't think you'll. I think you'll get. It's got to be the bleeding obvious. It's Blood of Angels. It's got to be it.
All right, I'll make sure we put that on the set list there for you,
I
Brady. No
mean,
problem.
from my perspective, you've got to play the whole thing.
Yeah. We only did the whole thing because it's just a time frame,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
most of them, yeah. But
yeah.
well, fun fact: September won't get played because we've never played it live, and it's just one we won't. So
Oh,
there
there we
you go.
go.
Yeah,
Never played it
so
live.
never. Yeah,
Interesting. Alrighty then. There you
yeah,
go. A bit of lore for you guys. All
yeah,
right, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. And thanks so much for catching up. And as mentioned, you guys have the online store opening up soon. We're going to be putting out a press release with all the tour dates and info on our website, so people can also find you guys on the newfangled social media.
yeah. Oh, it's
Um,
all right. Yeah, yeah, Instagram and Facebook. We've got it
yeah.
all sorted there. So yeah, get on there and all the updates are there. And yeah, first show, Necrosonic. Let's see everyone there. It's going to be I mean, it's not just for us. I mean, the bill is amazing. Like it's a great bill. Heaps
Oh,
of I mean,
crack
at least
lineup.
half the
Crack
bill I
lineup.
know as mates over the years. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
insane, right? So yeah, keen to see. I'm keen because we can't really say what time, but we're not on too late. We're on the main stage, so it still lets
Mm.
me to go through the set, and then I'll be able to get out there as a punter and still get on the piss and enjoy myself as well. So
Hell yeah, man.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
looking forward to Necro, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Enjoy abuse the rider privilege, mate.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Get roll time
Kiddo
safe.
doesn't know what's coming, mate. He doesn't know what's coming on his radar,
Hell yeah.
mate.
Hell yeah. Well, I hope you have a blast playing, motion, all that sort of stuff, man. So yeah. And just wanted to pass on a thanks to everyone in the band at the moment. And thanks for the chat, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brady. My pleasure as well.
Awesome. All right, take it easy and like some lucky buggers are gonna see you at Necrosonic and don't rough him too much up in the pit, guys. Shout him a beer while you're at it.
All right. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
mate.
All right.
Ta.
See
Bye.
ya.